friends, it's Cami. So if you've ever found yourself wondering, do all trans girls own a pair of cat ears? I have to say that's ridiculous, and I really want to dispel that myth right now because of course we do. So this week we're going to be talking about trans... I gotta take these off or I'm going to get distracted. I don't need any help getting distracted. So we're talking about Trans Awareness Week because it is Trans Awareness Week 2020. Before we get into that, I do want to let you guys know that YouTube has been auto-filtering and deleting comments that it thinks might be offensive. Last week's video got hit pretty hard by that, but yet it's still letting through the transphobic ones. So if you post a comment and it doesn't show up, just try again. I assure you I wasn't the one who removed it. I only delete the transphobes. So what is Trans Awareness Week? Trans Awareness Week is the week that leads up to the Trans Day of Remembrance. So during Trans Awareness Week, we spend time not always celebrating, but at least making aware the general public of trans issues and transness in general. The fact that we exist, and kind of awareness and education. That's the word I was looking for. And that leads up to the Trans Day of Remembrance. And the Trans Day of Remembrance is when we stop and observe and remember all of the trans people who were killed, who met extremely violent ends over the course of the previous calendar year. And it wouldn't be this channel if I didn't dive headfirst into depressing and enraging. So, every year on the Trans Day of Remembrance, the Human Rights Campaign compiles a report that lists and gives a memorial for every single trans person who died. In 2020 so far, there have been 34 murders. According to the Human Rights Campaign, the 91% of the murders are trans women of color. We need to do better as a society. The rant I made back in June discussed more about how these numbers might seem a little misleading, 34 out of a population of 400 million, but these numbers don't, these names don't take into account all of the assaults that did not end in death. So there are hundreds and hundreds of cases of severe assault that did not end in death, and the thousands upon thousands of cases that went unreported. To get to the topic, why do we need trans awareness? The short answer is to stop this. The long answer is to unpack that a little bit. The trans community, in order to help get rid of this culture of misunderstanding, this culture of violence that has grown up around the societal transphobia that I discuss fairly regularly on the channel. So we need awareness and education and understanding in society at large if we want to make sure that trans people are kept safe and happy and productive everyday members of society. So visibility and understanding takes on a couple of different facets when we start to really unpack it. On a societal level, a wider understanding of trans issues allows more people to understand what it is that trans existence is like, what exactly it means to be transgender, because so many people just don't know. They don't have the understanding. I talked last week about not having the verbiage to explain certain things, and that's a real problem here as well. As a society, we don't have the ability and education to understand. We're very ignorant to trans issues in general, and by having things like the Trans Week of Awareness, it allows more people to become aware of trans issues and trans existence so that they can better understand it. And that helps dismantle this culture of misunderstanding that can lead to a culture of violence. On the personal side of things, one of the major problems that plagues most trans people is feelings of isolation, alienation, loneliness, We have incredibly high suicide rates because of these things. If trans people are shown that other trans people exist, quite often in their own community, then they will begin to understand that they are not so alone, that they're not some weird alien freak, and that leads to a much safer, happier environment, both inside and out. Because if you spend your whole life feeling something is wrong, and then you start to discover that there is a name for it, that you don't feel so terrible. You don't feel like some imposter human being. You begin to feel like like every other human being, which is what we are, and that's what trans people deserve to feel like, is fucking human beings. So this is why I do what I do. This is why this channel exists and why I make these videos every week for you, is so you don't feel so alone, so someone can come along and see what I'm going through and understand the trans journey, understand the issues that trans people face regularly as part of that journey, as part of existing. So it will help understand, it will help normalize the trans existence, because that's the important part, is that we do the best we can to empower each other so that we're all safer and happier and just better all around. Because if nothing else, the Trans Week of Awareness is here to make sure that you know you are not alone. And if possible, be the voice that someone else needs to hear. On that note, I'll let you guys go. If you enjoy what I'm doing here, I welcome you to subscribe. You can check out any of my other stuff, the videos over here, down here, they usually have my face on them. I don't run ads on this channel, so if you're interested in helping out financially, you're welcome to check out the Patreon. You get your name on screen at the end of every video, and you get to check out show notes and scripts. So next time, we're going to talk about the holidays, for real this time. I know we said we'd do it last time, but we're going to do it next time. I promise. Stay safe, you guys. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. I love you. You're valid. Bye.